everyone. It is Elsid932 on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me. We are here for the end, the Ultimatum Reunion. We are here. I'm so glad we saw the show. I'm so glad they saw the show. And I'm so glad the reunion is a year after. So before we get into it, please like the video, leave a comment, put on your notifications, share it with a friend, because we are going to be doing a whole lot more shows. We're going back into Love is Blind, going back into so much more. But y'all got me here for the ultimatum. Y'all got me here recording. I always watch, but I never recorded. So let's go to the notes. So let's remind ourselves we had two engagements at the end of episode 9. We had Scotty and Arya, and we had Mariah and Caleb. So everybody comes back. Everybody who stayed through the end, they came back. Everybody looked really good. The fashions were there. Vanessa Lachey, hey, I loved that black dress. Everybody looked absolutely amazing. And they started with Mariah and Caleb. They're still engaged, okay? Their wedding is planned for the summer 2026. Destination wedding, I know that's right. But then, Caleb, why do you need to talk to caterers, photographers, if you're going to have a destination wedding? Usually the hotel or wherever you're having it will have all of that planned and put together for you. So there's a disconnect with the story here that I'm not quite getting. Destination means the destination handles it. You don't have to talk to caterers and so forth to manage it. I'm just saying. So Caleb said they took the time to restart their relationship and to be in the right place. He said he thought he was showing up as his best self, but that is not what was shown on television. That's right, Caleb. That's right. While most folks saw Caleb as the nondescript, really nice guy, I was like, I see a little bit of what has Mariah spinning her wheels. So Arya said he was looking and liking her stories online. Caleb's like, yeah, I was also liking Zaina's. So what's up? Arya is saying that Caleb is being fake. And, saying Mariah was calling him every night and they were talking for like 2 hours in the bathroom. And I'm like, Arya, you came out swinging. She said she got screenshots of everything. And I'm like, why, Arya? Why? Why is it so important now? It's been a year later. You kept the screenshots. You kept receipts to show what? It was more than a friendship? What time then, Arya, in following along, what time did Caleb have to grow a deeper connection if he's spending hours in the bathroom talking to Mariah? Now, what you should have told us is why he woke up scared, thinking he was laying next to you. Now, that is what I wanted to know. Why was Caleb waking up scared, thinking he woke up next to Arya instead of Mariah? That's a receipt I would like to know. Not this, he liking my stuff on social media. Because then I can't like anybody's stuff since I'm a married woman. Is that what you're saying? Looking and liking means something? Girl, please. Mariah said it's all news to her. She has been blindsided by all of this. And I'm like, Mariah, calm down. This is as feisty as we've seen you the whole show. Calm down. This is not something you need to fight. So what, he's been looking, liking, whatever. They never met up. Nothing risque. The risque is, why, Caleb, did you wake up scared you will lay next to Arya? If you never laid next to her before, you shouldn't be scared. Okay? Whew. So Scotty says what worked for him and Arya is that he was 100% with Arya the whole time. He was 100% honest with her. And he validated Mariah's feelings and that she wanted to know more because some intuition was telling her there was something more. So Mariah said it all hurt her, that he didn't want to talk about it. And Caleb acknowledged his mistake was not acknowledging there was an emotional connection. Now we need to define this emotional connection, because the way Arya is coming out swinging, I'm thinking it's a deep emotion. But is it only on Arya's side? Is it not deep for Caleb? But Caleb, Again, why'd you wake up scared? You were laying next to the wrong woman. Or you were naked laying next to the wrong woman. Aria said he was putting Mariah first, even on their dates. So even you can say he's putting Mariah first. So is this all contrived? So y'all can have a disagreement? Did you just want him to say, hey, I did want you? Is it coming from, like what Scotty said, he's never known a man that just be friendship with Aria? Because that's screaming ego to me. Screaming real ego. So we move on to Aria and Scotty. There are no rings. That is the first thing I noticed. There is no ring on Aria's hand. And I'm like, ooh. So she said she acted in emotion on the day of the engagement from getting what she wanted from him. She heard everything that she wanted to hear, and he was being great in the trial marriage, but they are not engaged. She said she made a mistake after the show. She said he was understanding with the start over. They did move in together, but it didn't pan out. Their conflict continued. But she said she broke up the engagement the day after the proposal. She said she didn't want to call her family. He was like, let's call your family. She didn't want to do that, and she broke it off. She also didn't want to embarrass him in front of the camera. I could imagine that. But again, I'm just thinking, Scotty's on this high of, oh my God, she said yes, to now the next day, a deep low of, she don't want to be engaged to me. She don't want this. Okay. I was like, the look on Scotty, I was like, what was Scotty's reaction? Because I was like, Scotty would react to this in a negative manner. Ooh, I was scared for her. I'm like, what did Scotty do? But she said they continued to see each other after the engagement broke up, but they went back to their old ways. Of course, you ain't doing nothing different. He agreed to couples therapy. She said her ultimatum was couple therapy, but he didn't do it for a whole year. Now, Scotty, she said this is what she needs. If you want to get the ring back on her finger, go to the therapy. You said you went already. What's the problem? Scotty says his proposal was a mistake, but it wasn't the proposing. It was the telling her all of that information in the moment. I'm a little confused, Scotty. The words were a part of your proposal. So what are we saying? He said he wanted to show her that he will always love her. Okay. They went to therapy, but it wasn't on her time. She said it was a year later. Of course it's not on her time. Not on anybody's time. I don't want to wait a year. Are you kidding me? She said he was just giving excuses. She just always has to ask him to say sorry. Okay? So he said there's so many things, and she's like, tell. She's like, I'm going to tell. She said her grandmother passed, and she also had a miscarriage. And I was like, whoa. That hit me really, really hard. The emotional upheaval. And if Aria's grandmother was her sounding board and her source of emotional strength, I can imagine that being a double whammy. But I'm not going to negate the fact that Scotty also experienced a loss when she lost their child. I have to acknowledge that Scotty is going through his own emotional turmoil. So I would ask, when did this happen? Because his emotional turmoil could have been around then. It could have been around that and not the relationship. He could have seen he lost not only her, but their future. It is so much there. And you would have needed the therapy, Scotty. So I asked questions too about what was his emotional strength at that time. But she did acknowledge she is emotionally exhausted. And he made her feel like she gave up, but she didn't. She was just tired. She said she did try, and she's not discrediting the fact that he did try as well. Scotty says it's demoralizing to give someone everything they want and you're still not giving them enough. Scotty, yes, I understand it feels like you're spinning your wheels in the mud. But You're not giving her what and how she would like to receive. So it's being lost in translation. It's not being received. Y'all are two ships passing at night, not aware of each other. So you have to give her the way she wishes to receive and the way she will recognize it. Because if she doesn't recognize it, guess what? It's not going to land. It's not going to happen. So Zaina says she was surprised that Arya said yes. Girl, we the audience were surprised that Arya said yes. It's like, what is going on? Arya, what are you saying? But Zaina was like, Scotty is not good with rejection. So maybe Arya said yes to spare him. And Arya acknowledged it. That's when she acknowledged it. She did not want to embarrass him on international television. Scotty says she broke his heart for sure. He prays that this is not the end. And it's best for them to be single now. I hope in the singledom is therapy. Because they've gone through a lot emotionally in just 1 year. They did end up moving together. San Francisco, one of the most expensive places in the country, if not California. So he did move. He did move to San Francisco like she wanted to live in the same place. He did make concessions. But again, I think a therapist will help them, work their concessions so they both can thrive in the relationship. So they moved on to Jera and Zaina. Jera said they moved out. They went their separate ways. But she wanted to get back together. That she's mad they didn't spend Christmas together. She's like, no, we did. He's like, we didn't exchange gifts. She's like, no. I got you a gift. You got me one 3 days later. Jera's like, we're broken up, and she's still acting like we're still together. Zaina's like, do y'all want the truth? I was ready. Zaina was there and ready. She was like, moved across the street. They're still talking on the phone every day. He's still calling. They still spent his birthday together. He's like, I didn't ask you for any of that. Now, here's my thing with Zaina and JR. The show says when you're done and you're not engaged, you are done. The relationship is over. Go your separate ways. Block, don't call, don't communicate, don't do all that relationship stuff you used to do. But they didn't follow those rules. So now we're in a gray area. Okay? We're in a gray area. Zaina says that he needed time to process it and told her to stop, but he refused to give her closure. Why? Why do we need closure? The show gave you closure. The show told you what was closure. Okay? The show already said no engagement, no relationship, no more. That is your closure in the contract. But you needing it from him? I don't understand. Why do we need closure? Why do we need closure? He already told you you are not the woman for him. Walk away. That's all you needed to know. Just walk away. She says it's a year and he's still processing things. Now, I understand where she's coming from. Why is it taking you still so long? But we can't tell people how long to process. Am I on her side? Yes. I do believe her. I don't think he's still processing. I think he done moved on, checked out, and gone. But he said he's on a journey of self. Jared, the way you said it, it's not what you said, it's the way I felt. You're just saying something to just scoot by and get out of it. So she says she can now see the signs. He had no intention of proposing. He was checked out a year before this. Okay, I'm glad you came to the realization. I'm hoping, Zaina, that in your future relationships, that you will keep this awareness. Okay? So she said it is a different JR now, and that he lied to her about Sandy, etc. And Sandy is adamant they did not clap cheeks. They did not get physical. She and JR. Okay? Not at all. So I can understand that. I can see that. I know there's talk out there that don't believe it, but there's sometimes people can get very flirtatious together and behind closed doors, nothing. Now, the way it's said, I'm, likely to believe, but I can understand why people don't necessarily believe them because of their physical chemistry out in public, meaning public in front of the camera. So Sandy said she felt unseen in her relationship with Nick. She had a connection with JR, but it was, physical fun dynamic that did not go past kissing. Okay? Totally understand you, Sandy. Whether folks believe it, I don't know. I don't know. When doors close, no one knows where the nose goes. Let me stop. So Zeta said, you lied to me on girls' night. And Sandy did acknowledge yes. But said that JR did talk about Zaina for hours and hours. And they helped each other as friends. A little too friendly. So Zaina said, hey, I have a QR code that is on my manicured nail to show you receipts file. So they use Nick Lachey's phone, scan the QR code that pulls up receipts of text messages. And Zaina shows that Arya started that hall pass talk. Okay? So after the highlights, they show us that JR was the one who started the hall pass talk. JR. He was talking to Micah at one of the couple's receptions. JR said he could have broken up with her and gotten with a girl in LA. And I'm like, geez Louise, JR. You definitely did check out. Now, one couple did come back. Vanessa and Dave. They have only seen Mariah and Caleb since leaving. Vanessa said Nick texted her 2 days before the reunion to see if she was coming on to clear things up for him. And he said, no, just if you were coming. She's like, no. Clear it up for you. Vanessa said there's a friendship that she had with Nick in the dating week, and once they moved in, things made her feel uncomfortable. Nick has to work through his trauma, and he was not going to learn, so she left. Nick said he was affected with, how she found out what. Nick said he was affected when he found out that Sandy and JR were kissing, or had a kiss at the time, and he acted poorly. He was drinking a lot. He said he shut down Vanessa. He was rude, he was cold, he was unsafe and scared. He said he was not open to Vanessa helping him. And maybe he opened up too soon all of this onto Vanessa. And Vanessa said basically what we saw. Vanessa said he spiraled. She tried to be a listener, but he was not receptive. He was ugly, and it was the first day. Vanessa, understand. Outer ran too. Sandy said this is how she experienced the relationship with Nick. And to see Vanessa see it after the first day, she knew it was like exactly what she was experiencing. But I'm like, Sandy, you wanted his ring. You wanted to get engaged. So all this, you saw what I've been going through, but you wanted to go through it forever? You want an engagement. Vanessa said they connected because they were homeschooled, but he was only homeschooled for one semester. Nick is like 1 year. Nick, when someone say they homeschooled, I have a homeschool child, that means they've been homeschooled for more than even 1 year. They've been homeschooled through an entire situation, K through whatever. My son is 7th grade through 12. That's homeschooled, not just one semester or 1 year. So Nick said he understands why she left Vanessa, and he's sorry for that day. He supported her about her crying over Dave. She's like, yes, she was there for Nick, but Nick lashed out. But when he was there for her, she received it. He said, sure, he sees the difference. It was very dismissive, Nick. It was very dismissive. I didn't like it. She's still trying to help you, and you're still dismissive. Nick said there is fact and fiction here. Whatever she needs to feel better. But Vanessa said she didn't feel like she needed to say goodbye. I was like, what? She didn't owe him anything. Dave felt the experience was unnecessary. Nick says, hey, your leaving left a lasting impact. That was Nick Lachey that said that. And I agree with him. It left a lasting impact. Sandy says, I don't blame you for leaving, but it impacted all of us. And Nick said, being alone was the best thing for him. I don't know. I don't know, Nick, if it was the best thing. Because it was real sketchy. So Vanessa said her ultimatum questions were answered by Dave. Dave said it was enlightening since it got them to talk. He does wish to marry her, and he took her ring shopping. Now, Dave, if this does not turn into a proposal, engagement, and marriage, I'm going to think like you took her to the candy store to see all the candy she could have, and this could all be yours, and you don't deliver. I'm sorry, Dave. Until you actually deliver, I'm going to be side-eyeing you the whole time. So we finish off with Sandy and Nick. Nick said he was reaching for a piece of paper in his pocket, not the ring, and her reaction told him it's not the time. So he went into recovery. Congratulations, Nick. I applaud you sincerely for that. And Sandy took him, but she left him after a week. Now, that's kind of sketchy because, okay, I applaud Sandy for taking you. I wonder if you needed the support. But again, after the show, y'all, don't be in the gray area. After the show, if there's not an engagement, y'all are done. So she left you? No. Y'all were broken up as of the last day of the show and y'all didn't get engaged. I didn't like the wording of that, Nick. She said she didn't want to go through this and stay in the relationship after. It was engagement or breakup. Exactly, Sandy. She said love is not their problem. She saw he was not the right partner for her and she was not the right one for him. He said he was using alcohol to self-medicate. He felt abandoned and unloved since she was touchy-feely with JR from day one. Now, if your girl is touchy-feely, then this will be consistent with her being her true self, Nick. So, yes, she was with JR relationship-wise, trial marriage, so she's comfortable this way, then this is her genuine self. I'm not understanding, Nick. You probably didn't like to see it, but that tells me that Sandy wasn't faking it. So Sandy said he still tries to infiltrate her life like he did on the show. She is exhausted. He said he acknowledged that yes, he did get in the way of the experience and what she could have gotten out of it. So Nick said when Mariah said he was not husband material, he says, careful when you fall in love with an artist. And I'm like, what? Careful when you fall in love with an artist? What does that have to do with anything? I know a lot of artists. Painters, sculptors, musicians, performers. What do you mean careful? I don't see them spiraling like you did. Careful when you fall in love with an artist. That's not a good excuse, Nick. But he is seeing someone who accepts him as he is. I applaud you for that, Nick. I applaud you for that. Now, you did say you went into rehab. I did not hear how long you were sober. That is an interesting fact for me. I would love to have heard that so I can congratulate you. Even one day is an accomplishment. So JR said he's good. He's in therapy. He's not dating, just living. I don't know about that, but okay. Zeta says she's not seeing anyone. She's dating, exploring. She did freeze her eggs. Congratulations. She did say JR was there for her through the procedure. Now that ended the reunion, y'all. I think, here's my final thoughts on it all. I think these people are in a gray area too much. The show said you are done. Done. I don't believe in closure. Get your own closure within yourself. No one can provide you that closure. Okay? You have to process it yourself. And sometimes you don't need the other person's input for your own processing. So yes, gain your own closure, but then why the heck is closure needed? This show had a contract, told you what closure was. For Mariah and Caleb, I wish them well. Hope they have a long, wonderful marriage. Aria and Scotty, I wish them well. Wherever their roads lead, whether it's back together or not together, I wish them well. Aria, you have experienced a lot of loss, your grandmother included, and do feel for you. But in all of that, I think everyone on the show is just searching for love. Love of the person they wish to spend the rest of their life with. And though the ultimatum did not provide them with that, it certainly provided them with clarity, growth for the next phase. So until then, I will see you on the next show. Right now, I'm doing Love During Lockup. Y'all got me there. And starting in January, we're back to Love is Blind International. We're going to Germany, y'all. So in the new year, I will see you in Germany. But in the meantime, we're doing Love During Lockup. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.